Well, new documents reveal how the Obama State Department circulated reports from the discredited, phony dossier and its author, Christopher Steele. Emails obtained by Judicial Watch found a former aide to Secretary of State John Kerry, Jonathan Weiner, apparently decided to send Steele's reports from his personal email to an assistant who would then forward them to the State Department's classified system. Joining us tonight, Tom Fitton, the president of Judicial Watch. Tom, good to see you, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And let's turn to this Jonathan Weiner and what you've discovered at Judicial Watch. It's extraordinary.
Well, Weiner's supposed to be doing work on Libya for John Kerry's State Department, but instead he was the handler, it looks like, for Christopher Steele, who, given the volume of reporting and material he was sending to the State Department both before and during Russiagate, may as well have had a desk at the Obama State Department. And as you point out, Steele's material was concerning enough to senior officials at the State Department. They wanted to put on the classified system. But of course, Mr. Weiner, who, by the way, had helped compose parts of the dossier used by the FBI to smear Trump, thought he knew better and was sending this supposedly classified material, it looks like, on his personal email account, as you point out, to his colleague to be laundered into the classified system. The State Department is an agency that needs as much focus from law enforcement as the DOJ and the FBI did on FISA-gate. They're heavily involved in the spy smearing of President Trump. They were pushing material out to Congress just before the president came in. It was a hotbed of anti-Trump activity.
I think you're exactly right. I agree with you completely. But I want to also focus on contemporaneously. At the State Department, there was knowledge within at least elements of State Department leadership that dossier had serious questions about its authenticity, the reliability of its so-called documentation. We learned, obviously, later that it was an absolute work of fiction. But at the same time, Senator John McCain, it is said, was turning over the document to the FBI. There were a number of entry points into the federal system of this dossier that was the fraudulent work of Fusion GPS, Christopher Steele, and of course paid for by the Clinton campaign and the DNC.
You have to hand it to the
and
Clinton
the FBI, I should point out.
You got to hand it to the Clinton campaign and the DNC. They used every avenue available to them. The only question about what the Obama administration was up to is which agencies weren't involved. Now we know it's the FBI, the CIA, the Justice Department, the State Department, the Defense Department, the NSA, and of course, President Obama and the White House National Security Council. If Mr. Barr is doing his job and Durham's doing his job, doing their jobs, they've got a lot to investigate. In the meantime, we're doing the basic work of getting the information about what the State Department's doing, because Congress has gone completely bonkers in their, related coup attack against the president.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to comprehend that these attacks on the president, the efforts to subvert him and his policies and overthrow this Trump presidency, has been going on for 3 years. It's stunning, and still without accounting, without consequence. Tom Fitton, thanks for all you and Judicial Watch continue to do in search for the truth and keeping the public at least aware that it has a right to know what our government is doing. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.